Well, in my presentation, I focused on inspection and where it's located within the improvement cycle. And Education Scotland sees the virtuous cycle of improvement very much at the heart of what brings about better outcomes for children, and certainly in an early years setting. I would like practitioners to be thinking about how they improve practice for themselves, for their children, for their staff, and not just about servicing the needs of inspections or inspectorates, but actually looking critically at what makes the biggest difference to children, their parents, their families, the community and their staff. And that's a critical part of Education Scotland's focus is on that. I'd also like to focus on the recent publication of our new framework, How Good is Our Early Learning and Childcare, which is a critical document for self-evaluation. And it's also the same framework that we use in inspection. This document really does raise the bar and really does help practitioners to really look at aspirational goals to be as good as they possibly can be. And finally, I think I would want to just mention that early learning and childcare is good across the country. It's not in a very bad position. There's lots to celebrate, lots of really good practice to share. And one of the things that we're keen to do in Education Scotland is to look at how we can share that really good practice across the country and for people to learn from each other, while still really focused on areas for improvement. And so, for example, leadership for learning and self-evaluation being two key areas that we still need to work on together with our key partners.
I think for me, what the messages that I would like delegates to take away are first and foremost how we in the Care Inspectorate are taking cognizance of the changing landscape in which services are being provided, the public service reform and the resources that are available to services, to make sure that the scrutiny, the assurance that we deliver through our scrutiny arrangements are actually supporting not only improvement but adding value to the improvement agenda. So again, how we're doing that is we're looking very carefully at our scrutiny methodology, making sure that they're outcome focused, that we truly report on the experiences of children in services in terms of their early learning and childcare. And first and foremost, our shifting role from what might be perceived as a more traditional approach to regulation, from a compliance model to a model of collaboration. And the powerful dialogue that we can have, the professional dialogue with staff as part of a scrutiny regime. And again, I think it's important to recognise that whilst we have a particular responsibility in statute to support and further improvement in social work and social care, we don't believe that that is compromised if we enter into more collaborative discussion and engagement with service providers. We think that can actually support improvement even better, and we think that can help make sure that scrutiny in its future form, as we make these changes, can play a real important part in improving services that are delivered to children, particularly in early years settings. I think in terms of the changes that we are making, have made and will continue to make to our scrutiny methodologies, I think key to that is making sure that we are truly intelligence-led, targeted and proportionate. Those words roll off the tongue quite easily, but we need to do that to make sure that inspection does add value, that we take account of the service's past performance, other intelligence that we may have, to make sure that we deliver a scrutiny that is proportionate and not delving into areas unnecessarily. So again, that involves very much listening to the views of children and young people when we're inspecting children's services. It very much involves listening to parents and carers, and it very much involves us observing practice. Documentation will always be important, but we need to shift the balance from perhaps an overly focus on documentation to one where we really truly observe and understand the children's experiences and report on those in a very outcome-focused way.
I think the key points I would like people to take away are that self-evaluation is absolutely central to the work that we do, really honest, open self-evaluation. So when the inspectors came to us, they said, really be honest. So we were really honest about what we thought we were doing well, where we thought we had areas to improve, and what sorts of things we were looking to do in terms of actions for improvement. So that was a very, very interesting and helpful professional dialogue, and I think that would help any setting to find a way forward.
To know that it's a shared purpose. It's about parents, it's about the children, it's about the staff, it's the inspector, it's everybody, all working together to get that one common aim to make the best practice that you can for the children, and to be open and approachable to the inspectors, even though we're all frightened of them to a certain degree. But let's be honest, I think that you have to, they're human beings, they're there to do a job. And if you approach them when they first come in with a certain amount of like, have a cup of tea, you know, get to know us, and then you can go on from there. You've set the benchmark of how you want to be and how be approachable. And then you can actually have a really good inspection. You know, they're nervous too, they have to go into different places. So I think it's a positive. I think if it's positive, it's a challenge, and you can go better on with that.
I think the placing a high value on the quality of early learning and childcare and how important it is and how unique everybody's own establishment is within their own community. Looking at parents, the families, children, and what they actually need, and how the pedagogy of what we do is so important to that demographic. I think that's one of the most important things I would say, and the skills of staff within your own setting in order to do that, how important leadership is and how important the inspection process is in helping us move forward, the dialogue that you have, so that we've got this continuous vision for improvement.
I would hope that the delegates would understand that and the inspection process is actually a supportive process and it's nothing to be afraid of. It's something that you should embrace, because every single person from the inspector to the staff are there for a common purpose, which is to improve the outcomes for all our children and families. So really, it's not something to worry about, it's something that you should embrace with open arms.
I think from my own point of view, it would be more the communication side of things. It's very positive. During the inspection, the communication and dialogue between the inspectors and the management, staff, and especially the parents who were involved on the day, that was extremely helpful. And I think the feedback that we received from everyone, including the parents, really helped the staff, and it's helped us achieve what we have and hopefully keep going.